before.
Oh, for sure.
And it pretty much picked up from there on forever.
The other thing I really like about what OG does is they always, it's this idea of heroes, like that's why the Shadow Demon gets banned out. There are these heroes that even though you can pick good matchups against them, they'll always give your draft more tools, right? Shadow Demon has a BKB piercing purge and a save mechanic. And again, why don't I like Witch Doctor? Because the hero is one-dimensional. You can't adapt with the hero. You have a stun that requires two heroes close together. You have Maledict. You have an ultimate. You deal damage. That's it. That's all you do.
It's a pretty solid laner as well, Shadow Demon. He's been buffed up quite a bit, and because of that, he's also picked up once again. Yeah. Now, with this Phoenix pick, even though Phoenix did get nerfed a couple of times, it really doesn't matter. It's still super good. And when you open it like this, you're forcing the enemy team to think about that Mars. Okay, OG, they open up with a Grimstroke.
I think, is Mars in the pool? Because if so...
I think it wasn't banned.
Yeah, it's here. And to your point, Phoenix is another great example because your ultimate BKB piercing stun at the end of it. The Ags is absolutely insane, and I've seen a lot of Phoenix still rushing the Ags. You have a form of damage reduction and with your W,
the slow.
It's so it's good, and you have escape mechanism built in. So you've got like all of these tools that other heroes maybe not. And I like the Void Spirit. This is just again super active. And what do you know? Who's playing the Void Spirit? We have no idea. Could be any lane. Could be any role. Still very open, and OG, of course, are second pick, so expect them to have that versatility all the way up until that final selection.
The guessing game begins, and this is where the real brain training comes on between both of them.
And it's cool too, because you can astral step out of Mars ult, right?
You can. You can pretty much escape
and
it any given way, yeah. And they continue this draft with the Dragon Knight, right? It's a hero that doesn't lose the Void Spirit lane if he's matched there. You're fine. You have objective taking capabilities as well. It's also sort of a flex pick. You can put it on the offlane as well. I wouldn't really like to see the Phoenix plus Dragon Knight lane, but it could work.
It's a little early though, no? Because you're now super susceptible. You got to think about banning Necro, Pugna, which I think is what they take out here, or even Silencer mid is really scary when you have
Pugna and Necro obviously are dangerous to Dragon Knight. But you do have a hero that's solely magic damage. You have a hero that's actually Navi, I believe today they bought Veil on Phoenix versus a Necro, and it worked out really well.
Yeah.
There's also a possibility for you to buy that Vessel on Phoenix. It's not only about the heroes, it's about the items that they buy too, right? And if we are to see these Necros and Pugnas, which we won't because they're banned, I would like to see more heroes that are buying Nullifier. And that's where Klinks comes into play once again. Yesterday we saw it once. I think that hero will come into the meta.
Yeah, I like it a lot with these like really tanky offlaners that are coming available. And it's also one of those conceptually infinite scaling heroes, right? Because you get plus damage off of hero kills.
And it's so strong. Like right now, it's ridiculous.
It's a perfect Thompson hero if only we were here. I'm sure he's spamming it somewhere. And yeah, this OG pick, I could see them gunning for something that's requires Alliance to address, such as say like a Bat Rider. But I think you want to keep it a little more open. Is Chen in the pool? Chen and Furion are still in the pool, right?
No, Furion is banned out.
Chen's there. It's possible.
Yeah, you could put the Grimstroke on position 4. I'm not really the biggest fan of that. You could put Chen on position 3, however, with that Helm of Dominator. But we have seen some changes, like just an hour ago, right, with that patch, which makes pushing quite a bit more difficult. And Chen always suffered in patches that kind of made those pushes harder. The plus damage on tier 2 towers and extra 500 HP.
500 health is no joke.
What's the region itself, right? On tier 1 it's plus 1
and
tier
3
2,
on tier 3.
On 3, it's crazy good.
So far this is what you would have expected from OG, keeping it this way and keeping it open.
They're keeping it very flexible. They're having these two heroes that, all right.
So really early morphling.
That's very early, yeah.
Phoenix counter and probably just a deny pick. And this is again, like, I love this from OG. Who knows if it works out, right? But comfort hero, notably, but think about how well these three heroes synergize together, right? Grimstroke and Void Spirit are super strong. You just shield, double shield, run forwards. Now the combination as well with an E-Blade and a shotgun that hits 2 targets because of Grimstroke, also excellent. and it gives you a win condition and addresses the Phoenix. So it pretty much, even though their second pick forces Alliance to respond to now like this combination. Now you have to think about how the hell are we dealing with this combo? Like we need this. And they banned Necro themselves too. That's the other part.
There's obviously a reasoning behind such an early Morphling pick, but if this wasn't OG and we see a Morphling pick this early on, we would be bashing on it. We would be saying this is
wouldn't.
We would, like, especially Morphling that hasn't had really a lot of success recently, especially in this tournament. We wouldn't be that satisfied with it. There are options for them. There are heroes that they can go for.
To be fair, I think a big part of that is that people are sort of the heroes overpicked, and success or fail, they're picking the Morph to play the way Morphling wants to play. He plays shotgun. Like that's the timing throughout all Dota history that's made Morph such an insane hero. If you're just picking it to buy like this Mask of Death into Manta Rush, it's not bad necessarily, but you know, a lot of heroes can do that. No other hero can become somebody else, zip forwards, blast someone off the map, and then go to like.
Then again, that E-Blade did get nerfed a bit, right? Especially when it comes to
the bat.
Oh, all right, they get the bat.
Yeah. And now perhaps an LC pick, any sort of cleanse you expect OG to go for right here, which would
Oracle
then leave
isn't
them
banned
open.
out as well, right? That's an option. Oracle, Grimstroke, perhaps not the strongest support duo, but when you see something like a Batrider playing against you, Oracle should come into play there, yeah. You can think about that. No, instead they go with the LC.
It's so good. Yeah. It's perfect. And I love this still because now you could have Void Spirit or Morphling mid. Void Spirit can still be a support.
Yep.
Could still be an offlaner. You can do the LC mid. LC could be support.
Yeah, but the Batrider can be a support as well.
Sure.
So
but OG have last pick. Yeah. So Alliance are going to have to draw a line in the stand and state, this is what we're doing. And OG get the luxury of controlling the win conditions still, even as they have already selected the 4 heroes. And I just like where this is at. Alliance certainly not out of this by any means, but right now they got a lot of single target, and they need some way to deal with this Morphling. And they're also perhaps a little outmatched in lanes. Like LC is no joke, especially the Seb style.
What are you expecting Alliance going to go for now? What's a good answer here?
Slark.
It's really, man, this is...
I mean, it is your old school counter to the Morphling.
Yeah.
And also, there aren't really many heroes that can lane versus LC. Perhaps Slark, because it's a melee hero. It's not great.
You're not sold on it, Carl?
I mean, it's more single target, and conceptually, yeah, it's a counter to Morph, but there's an LC. Like, you just duel the Slark, and the Slark will get exploded. There's no save.
I'm just stating the positives. I'm not agreeing with the Slark way too much, because one of the problems for this Slark, usually in the matchup versus Morphling, is as a Slark, you want this slow-paced fight, right? Team fight. While Morphling, what he does is he just zips behind, blows up one of your targets, and goes away with T-Blade, then resets. Slark, he doesn't really have that power. And if you have 1 or 2 saves, it becomes very difficult to play that hero. And they already have one.
It's interesting as well, like if you think about the drafting order, maybe they still go LC, but when you bat 3rd pick here, you see the Morph, go for the Slark, because then that gives your bat, perhaps you take something that's a better matchup. Let's say they go Axe instead of LC. Suddenly this bat is an insane pick.
Yeah.
But if you're comfortable picking Slark into LC, then why not just just pick it earlier, right? Counter my Slark and then give that bat rider.
But you see that they're actually, OG is reading into it, and they're actually banning the Axe. They aren't banning some support or something like that. They're expecting the bat rider to perhaps be that support, and they're expecting Alliance to last pick their offlane. So they're still covering themselves, which is really what they should be doing.
Is there a saving grace pick here for Alliance? Is there somewhere they can go now, though?
I mean, they're not out drafted yet. But it just feels like OG's game will be easier, and when they're my view, better team, and they have an easier, an easier journey to victory. That's a pretty big edge.
One thing that Alliance definitely does need is a hero that makes this egg team fight a little bit easier. You are playing around the Supernova, and so far you're very limited on disable. Yeah, Lasso is fine, Dragonite stun is alright, but it's not really that AoE contain that you usually need, and they. All right.
Kyle's face. That's a meme face and a half. So we gonna zoom in on Kyle.
It's a hero that's kind of decent versus Grimstroke, because you have the Dispel versus Inkswell in the laning stage.
Kyle's face says you are really looking to try and clutch at straws with this one, Lizard.
I am. I'm not gonna lie.
There is literally 0 AoE damage on Alliance's team right now. and they have really limited team fight, and Ench just doesn't feel good. Look at all the catch that OG have. All three of these heroes are just going to go full Divide, and whether they find Bat or Ench or Phoenix, they're in big trouble. And OG still have last
Full
pick.
Divide.
Full Divide.
I love it.
Yeah.
We're definitely spending enough time here.
It makes sense in the sense that I imagine Ench will lane against either the LC or the Void Spirit, and you can purge off
Yeah,
and
you
press
can
the
purge
attack
off
and
all
the shield.
shields here.
Yeah, and the Grimstroke shield. So it makes sense from like a laning perspective, but I fail to see like how this addresses the Morphling. And yeah, they just go for the standard team fighter. I imagine this will be Kunkka mid. It's another disable that Slark can't queue off, that X back into a duel perhaps. This is a miserable Slark game. And
So wait, what are we seeing here? If Kunkka is mid, this makes the Void Spirit position 4, right? And position 5 Grimstroke, offlane LC or LC versus Bat. And
I
then
have no
Morph.
idea. It could be Kunkka, it could be LC support. Who the hell knows? Maybe just LC support, he follows the Batrider lane. I honestly don't know. But I will say that I look at the team fight from OG, and I think to like, how do you lose the game after 30 minutes, right? And I still favor them in the lanes too. Like this Ench has to go off. The Batriders, like everyone in Alliance has got to do some serious work because they're gonna have to make up for their lack of AOE team fight with just raw advantage and tower damage and tower advantage.
So what are we talking here? Win conditions starting with Alliance, because they seem to be maybe having the tougher time out of the two here.
Obviously, it's very easy to be as brave. It's very hard to be as brave as Kyle and talk about OG and all their strengths, even though you aren't even sure which way they're going to lane. But Alliance, they do have some things that go in their favor. Nico Baby will be playing that Slark. He's super capable of being that win condition when he is playing the hero. In the last couple of days, we did see Slark play. I'm not so sure what the point of this Enchantress is overall in the grand scheme of things. You do see that she has a couple of purges, which is always good, but she doesn't really round up this draft the way, in my opinion, they needed to do. They needed something like an axe. They needed some AoE.
So I'm going to stop you both real quick. So we're ready to get into the game, but tell me, which way are we going with this, Laz?
OG.
OG? And OG. So you're both going with OG. We've got OD Pixel, though, and Fog standing by ready to bring us this exciting game. Lads, are you ready for this?
Oh, we certainly are, Banks. Yeah, looking forward to this one. Should be an excellent best of 3. Fog, we've just seen the draft. You know, the panel a little doubtful if Alliance have the answers to OG's lineup and that this Morph should be able to carry this game. Do you agree, or do you think Alliance have got some good answers to the Sumer Morphling?
I am definitely liking what OG's got right now. Alliance is quite single target. They have some AoE with like the Phoenix and all that, but I mean, I think OG's just got their bases covered. I think they've got heroes that are pretty good versus the Slark too. I think Grimstroke is actually one that's pretty annoying for Slark to play against in a lot of stages, and they did pick it into the Grim and the Legion. I think Kyle was the one who was mentioning there's 2 elements for this Slark that he can't really, he can't dispel. This X, this Legion Commander ultimate as well, the duel is going to be quite a big of a problem. But I think the way for Alliance to kind of bail themselves out is just do well in lanes, and they have to end this game pretty early. They can't really give OG too much breathing room at all with their draft with this Morphling.
Is that what because just what at the late portion of the game, Slark as a hero just doesn't have the same sort of end game carry potential as a Morph in your eyes?
Not versus what he's against.
No.
Because he's versus that hard lockdown, right? You get dueled. You can just die every single time if that's the case, and there's not really any way to protect. Maybe if the Phoenix gets an Ags, like eventually something along those lines. But this is talking way later. I think there's just a lot of different ways that OG can play around that win condition for Alliance, which is going to be put into the Slark at one point, unless they can just somehow group together and get a big push going. But don't know if that'll be so easy.
Yeah, we'll see sort of how we get the side lane starting out. Obviously, both teams trying to get as much information as they can with those early movements, seeing who's going where. And it looks like they will start with at least OG sending Sumail up to that top lane, being backed up by Saxa, and having the Legion obviously try and go bottom and be up against the bat lane. But at the same time, imagine, will Alliance continue to switch this? Like, as the bat, can S4 play in the lane against the Legion, or does he really want to try and make sure that he's in a lane where he can harass successfully with the Napalm?
I mean, you want to move. You don't want to be put in this lane, especially not with a Phoenix too. They just double dispel. You're just like, okay, Fire Spirits plus Stickies, okay, free for the Legion. So yeah, definitely swap. You don't want to don't give Seb free matchup. You want to be able to try to slow down that Morphling too, because Morphling, he's pretty weak early on, but you see they're prepared already. Look at Sumail's items. Even if they're going to be in versus, let's say, a 2v2 or 3v3, something like that, or if the lanes do swap, he's got to stick prepared for when that back gets there anyway.
Yeah, and Saxa and Notel are going to do their best to make sure that S4 takes a little bit of a beating as he heads up here. Dax also has the Remnant back up if he wants to go for an extra bit of a harass, but he'll let S4 be for now. So these
I've
lanes...
seen too much a wish, by the way.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing what this man's going to be able to do. He's on his Kunkka this game. Against Limp, I guess this mid lane matchup should be a pretty easy lane for both of them to hit the CS, right? I don't see anyone necessarily going down early on in this 1v1.
He plays a lot of Kunkka too, right? I think I saw 232 Kunkka games or something on that screen.
That's a decent amount. But yeah, we'll see. Interested to see what sort of build we go. That's... Couldn't start any better for OG. Sumail first blood onto S4 after, of course, as we mentioned, S4 just moving into the lane that he wants to play in. Yep. Unfortunately for him, Sumail just seeing an opportunity to get in. And of course, it is a dangerous lane. He's got the two supports hanging around here, making sure that Sumail is going to have the backup to make those plays. It's going to be a rough start for S4 on this top lane.
And I don't know great ways for them. I mean, it's going to be up to FNG to see what he can really do with what creeps he gets as an Enchantress, but their support duo is not going to be able to contest very well. Phoenix and Enchantress, it's really just depending on what creep he's able to do, but I'm looking at the way OG's playing too, and look at this, look what they're doing for Sumail. Look at the two supports on OG. They're not touching experience. They are just sitting in between and just giving Sumail the absolute freest game. He's going to be level 3 in a second here.
I mean, that's pretty terrifying, right? Yeah, if a Morph is going to get as free of a start as Sumail is, you got to be worried. Oh.
FNG?
See if he can find
get
FNG. He is going to... Oh no! Just goes for the creeps. Won't go for the hit onto the courier. Courier will survive, make it out there to relieve Notel. That's the one grabbing that out. As FNG still staying in, pulling these creeps, manipulating the wave. Somehow trying to make this top half for the map a little bit easier for Alliance to play. Down bottom, seeing an attempt onto Seb. Oh, he does actually die at the same time. Down bottom, Hansken's going to be able to get the body blocks onto Seb, and this should set up for a good kill for Slark. So as much as we are talking about how much the Morph's getting up top, of course down bottom, Nico Baby in this lane setup, the two of them versus Seb, he's able to hit the creeps pretty freely down here. You know, Seb's not going to be able to pose too much of a threat because the Phoenix is going to be there ready to back up Nico Baby anytime Seb gets a little aggro on the Slark.
But Seb's able to get stuff is the issue. Seb is getting a decent amount bottom, and you look at that, S4 is getting nothing. Not even a single point of... Okay, he just got like 2 points of experience, 3, a third creep as well, but he's getting so limited by the way that they're playing this top lane and manipulating the positioning of it over and over again.
He just got a last hit.
There we go.
So he is on the board now. He's on the board. But it is a slow start. OG laning in a way that Sumail is having all the CS that he would wish for in this laning stage. The mid lane continues to be a bit of a snore fest, just trading farm. 18 for 2 against the 21 for 3. And I tell you what, I can feel already maybe the change in the patch being shown there in that mid matchup. Not a lot of denying going on. A lot less than there would have been in the previous patches. Players obviously just... There's never really that question now where it's like, oh, shall I get cheeky deny instead of the CS? You just always get the CS.
Yeah, absolutely, because they even made it that you get more experience from deny too, right? 10% more. It's back to 50% too. So it's just, it's the denies are nowhere near as good.
CS4. It's got to be a little careful. It's got a fair few stacks up on Sumail, but obviously the levels aren't great. If you're seeing sort of a level 4 Morph, it's a level 2 Bat. This Bat's not going to be able to put any pressure on his own at the moment. Sumail,
they may just go on him.
Yeah, they're going to try for it now. Wait for me in S4. He is going to skill and pop the Firefly. That will keep him alive as he does move away. Sumail turns his attention over towards the creep that FNG's brought into the lane. Just
every time FNG steps away, he has to be very careful on S4. Because right now they can at least like dispel, dispel that Inkswell if they do make an aggressive move, but if FNG moves away, it's going to be free catch onto S4 with that. Bottom.
Saxa getting low. The Sunray not quite able to finish him off. Saxa's able to dip back into the trees. Top lane, and again, S4 getting brought down incredibly low. This time FNG is there by his side as he hides back behind the tower. 5-minute runes coming up. See who's on the move for those. Hansken on the eyes for the bottom one. And yeah, looks up top. Notel's going to be able to grab them, so it should be a 50-50 split on them.
This is the first official on this patch?
Game 3. Game 3 of the last
series was actually played on that patch. Oh, okay,
yes, it was. But no, this is indeed the first series where we really see sort of how the numbers affect everything. Obviously, a lot of numbers were changed. Many more, of course, than listed in the patch notes, because that summarization, 20% reduction on many talents. That can mean a whole lot of things, and we're going to see how that comes into action. Samel's getting low, but he's got no tail by his side, comes in with the Ink Swell, and they'll kill off S4. Samel keeps it cool. He had the 1 charges, and again, as the Morph, he's going to be able to shift down low, take another Tango, get some regen out, and should remain pretty safe in this lane. 33 CS. Mid lane starting to be a bit of an edge for Limp. He's getting just that little bit more than Wish, but it still continues to be incredibly close between these two as they continue to farm, push out. We should be able to see Wish able to easily utilize these camps towards the side. He's actually going to pop the invis.
Ooh, he is spotted.
Bottom, but the room was top.
They do have a ward on that high ground too, so they did see him at least go invis.
Yeah,
but they do spot him again.
I think, if anything, though, he's going to be tempted just to hang around mid. No real need to move to a side lane yet, as the Kunkka just continues to soak in all the free farm. Top lane as well. They get an Ink Swell initiation onto S4, but No-Tail goes in pretty low for it, ends up losing his own life, and Samel isn't able to capitalize on that play and actually finish S4 off. S4's going to be able to live and get himself a bit of action.
Oof, Nico Baby was really holding his ground there, getting those stacks up to 14 Ashen shifts for the time being, maxing it out first. 1-1-3 build, so to hit that Sub-Legion commander.
Yeah,
and a quick little bottle refill mid, and now Limp. He could be in a lot of trouble here.
They are going to be able to get the combo off the X mark into the boat. If they got any more control, they have. The Ink Swell pops, and so does Limp's life. OG make the moves, get the kill on the DK, and can put some pressure onto that mid tower.
That was very convenient for them. It's like as the DK ult gets popped almost, only 10 seconds or so hitting towers, and their catapults there, now they're able to put the pressure. It's a solid move.
Yeah, instant reaction. And you see sort of how much damage was done to OG's tower, not a lot at all. Able to greatly limit what Limp could get done with that first use of the ult. Obviously, with supports making moves, Samel.
S4 top. Is he gonna need solo kill?
Low. He is. Samel with a straight up outplay. He doesn't need no supports up there. He knows his limits, and S4 misreading the potential there of Samel's morph as he's able to take him down solo.
Oof. A bat with this type of start it's gonna be a problem, Owen. He's only level 5. He's bottom 3 net worth. Seb is having a fantastic game on the opposing side.
He is. He was able to set up there with the duel. Didn't get the dual bonus damage, but the initiation allowed for the follow-up silence from No-Tail to lock down Hansken long enough to get that kill. 6-3, 1k lead. I'm going to see Limp pop this invis and start moving towards the top. He's going to have Elder Dragon form back up. Samel is not an easy kill though. Yeah, as a DK, you've got to be very lucky, to maybe catch him shifting incredibly high into the Agi, but it looks like it's not going to happen. Limp's going to back away, start moving back towards the mid lane. Doesn't want to miss out on any sort of farm.
Set bottom. We'll survive here. Nico maybe also gets hit by the Remnant.
I mean, he's going to be chasing Nico. He's hiding in the trees. He's starting to take the benefit of the Shadow Dance, so he's getting a little healed up. Seb trying to get in range for that duel, but the pounce is available once more, and Nico Baby is able to survive. Gets back. He's also picked up the phase boots, so he's got a bit of an easier way of sort of dipping and diving in and out of the action. And he's going to try and force on towards Seb, but won't actually be able to catch him. And does need to be careful without his Shadow Dance for 50 seconds, and Seb having the threat of the duel. Quick duel into TP could spell the demise of this slug.
Definitely is. I mean, Sumel just continuing to keep that farm forward. I'm very worried about S4. I think they mentioned on the panel too about the bats going for the bots lately. I feel like in some games it looks really great. Like, of course, you're able to make all these moves on the map. You're not so reliant on your lasso, but in some games also just putting off your blink dagger puts your team in an awkward spot of no initiation a lot of the times. And this feels like it might be one of those because of how much his game is slowed down already.
No, for sure.
Level 6, no money.
And if you're not looking at your bat being able to initiate, who's the one jumping forward? Sure, your Slark can go in first, but as you mentioned at the start, there's a lot of things that Nico Baby's got to be careful about if he looks to start fights himself. A couple of ways that OG can counter the Slark.
Looks like outposts will just be a 1-for-1. Limp is trying to set up to go for some mid pressure, it seemed like for a moment, but decides against it to go check a rune first, and it looks like he actually wants to make the move more so down bottom than actually mid.
I was going to mirror that of Sumail coming in with the TP. Dave behind the tier 1 tower. Nico Baby does jump forward onto Saxa, but he's hiding in the trees. Sumail's going to start showing himself underneath this tower, though. Still hard for Alliance to make a play onto it. As long as Sumail's going to be hot with the shift, I don't know if they can kill this Morph. He's going to start getting all the HP back up with these 2 TPs. Alliance, they've got to really think through if they want to stick around here. The boat's coming in, providing that buff towards OG. The Soulbind locking in both S4 and Limp together. They've got the Supernova stun. It will be successful and does catch out Wish, but he's a Kunkka. He is tanky and still with that run protecting him. He's able to head in the trees, still has a Fairy Fire and a pretty full wand. A dive away is attempted by Hanskin, but he's pulled in by the Ether Remnant. Sumail goes in with a waveform. Now they can turn their attention over towards Limp. Limp pots the 1 charges. No tail using the creep to set up as the Inkswell will catch Limp. They've got the setup. Sumail turns into the DK to use the Dragon Tail stun against him. Limp's tanky. The Ether Remnant from Saxa is off the mark. They've got the silence. They're still trying to dive forward onto this. They get the hit with the nukes. Wish getting the angle for the Tidebringer. Sumail goes in with a brief fire. A few more hits won't quite do it. Limp will live. There's been time for FNG to TP in or throw a few impetuses over the way of Sumail. Extra TPs coming in from Alliance. S4 watching from the side. No lasso available. So Sumail's able to waveform away successfully. Will live. OG, they don't lose the Morph. They don't quite get a potential kill there. That missed Remnant from Saxa costing them the chance on Limp's life.
Up top. Nico Baby just able to survive. Alliance were able to actually get the tower at the least out of all of it, but that was a very, I felt like almost like a very forced movement, because I think maybe they saw Seb appear top quickly, so they're like, okay, there's no TP for the Legion Commander, but Wish was like no hesitation. He instantly TPs bottom, he gets his whole combo off, and then the lasso comes out on him, so it seemed like it was a very forced movement, and OG, it looked like they read it. It looks like they knew exactly that was going to happen.
And it really does, feel like a bit of a sign of maybe things to come. The fact that you have that commitment onto Sumail's Morph, you can't burst him. They just don't have the tools, the initiation to catch him in 100-0. He's always going to be able to get the strength shift off. He's 3-0-2 so far. His free farm continues, top net worth as the Morphling. And it's going to be ever so hard for Alliance to shut that down. They've got to have some sort of way of getting in and catching him off guard. That would potentially be the bat, but as we've said, S4's start to this game has been so slow, it's going to be a long time before he has any sort of item that's going to allow them to have a chance of killing the Morph.
Yep. And they have ways to guard him too. And this is not only just a good, the Morph game for it, but I know Kyle was mentioning a lot of single target, but also single target disables. This is a dream Linken's game. You're playing versus DK Stun, you're playing versus Bat Rider. Some very good. There's not really like the easiest ways to break that besides it either. Sure, there's like an enchant, but there's not really the easiest ways to break that. So it looks like an amazing Linken's game for that Morphling.
I think all
and
the pressure. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you get on top of him, he's going to be taken straight out of the lockdown. Yeah. That's the trouble. I think you've just the Slark. This is the only factor that I can see maybe being able to turn around team fights. If we are getting these fights where Nico Baby doesn't get taken out immediately, he's able to start racking up the essence shift stacks, getting up to the 10-20, and start beating on some of these high HP heroes, these really tanky heroes like the Kunkka and the Legion. Up to a point where they can't fight back with him, they can't 1v1 with him. Maybe this Slark can pop off and take over team fights, but it's going to take it feels like a lot of misplays from OG and where they don't burst Nico Baby initiate on him. And talking about the man, he has got Shadow Dance, so should be able to play his way out of this. Pops it, but they've got so much AoE and control, it doesn't actually matter. They rip him apart through the ultimate, and they'll also take down Hanskin's Courier as a bonus.
I learned that Astral Step hits Couriers just now.
Oh,
it does. I didn't know that the Void Mark damage killed it. I think that's what killed it. That was interesting. Yeah, we mentioned there's so many things that they have for this Slark. So even if he gets a Shadow Dance, he's actually
they've got themselves a grab. They walk in with the duel. Have they got the damage to get the bonus damage? They don't, but they'll kill him after it ends. In they come. Alliance still trying to fight this. The Soulbind locking in Limp and FNG. They turn towards Seb. They should be able to kill off the LC here. Seb trying to run away, but the impetus will finish him off. So Alliance able to take something away from OG there as Seb oversteps the mark.
At least they get something out of that. They had to rotate all of their heroes. They had to use DK form. Still problematic. They get this kill, but it's just a kill, and it doesn't lead into much of anything because they're completely on their side of the map. They're stuck there at the moment. You see they're all just kind of farming there. I think the line is drawn right there. That line by Seb. We see the Legion Commander draw it. I think that's him saying, we own this part of the map. We own more than them at the moment, and they can't actually cross this line.
Yeah, these sort of major item pickups for the cores of OG are going to play real havoc with what Alliance wants to do. This Halberd for Wish, very nearly finished, and Samael, the Lincolns, it's pretty much done. So you get these two items on these two cores. They're probably not going to die. You just have to straight up look at the numbers the Alliance's heroes do in terms of damage, and it just doesn't add up to the point where these core heroes on OG are actually going to fall to the attacks from Alliance.
No, absolutely not. There is a blink right now on the DK. This maybe can catch and get some kills off guard before Sumail has the Lincolns, which is not for much longer. Only 200 gold
see, they do get the initiation on Seb. Straight in with the Dragon Tail. Seb's in trouble. He starts... But Nico Baby's on top, a few more hits, they'll get the Legion, but the boat comes crashing down, no connection, but does buff up the team with the run. They turn towards Hansken, Hansken wait for him to wait, but the right clicks from Samael follow through, kill off the Phoenix. Alliance, they're still trying to fight on for this. Samael is building up the strength, turns into the bat, tries to knock the back with the flame rate, but they've caught him out. They've outplayed Samael, he's messed up. He turned into the bat and was unable to shift any higher in the strength, so he is dead. Alliance getting a huge kill. What else more can they find? Nico Baby still pushing on, has the Shadow Dance, turns towards Wish, Wish able to pull him back with the X mark. Nico Baby won't be able to chase down the Kunkka because of this, but they do also find No-Tail in the trees. Alliance able to do it there with that blink pickup from Limp, catch OG by surprise. I mean, it looked like potentially maybe they would just get Seb out of that, but the fact that Samael committed like he did and did end up going down, that's a huge pickoff for Alliance to find.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't see exactly what caught him at first. I think maybe he got like clipped by like a pounce or something, then he gets lassoed as he shifts into bat form. But now, speaking of catching off Seb, he actually gets a blink duel onto FNG and the cleave. Yeah, they had a good jump. That was the surprise right there. They got the blink dagger on the DK. They get the jump on the probably the really important target on Seb before the Kunkka's there also to get the boat and the rum effect. Boat connects on him. I think nobody. So it was a pretty ideal fight for Alliance to get set up there. They need a couple more of those.
Of course, that fight did occur before Samael had the completed Lincoln, so he now has that on him. So those sort of situations where Lasso grabs him like that, a lot less likely to happen. I see towards mid, S4. They're going to be able to jump in on him. Remnants out, blocking off any sort of escape. Seb's able to jump in. No duel for a few seconds, but they won't need it to kill off the bat. S4 falls.
Oh man, and he still doesn't even have his bots. He's about to have them at least finished up, but not sure how much that's going to actually add to his strength in the next few months, because he's very squishy. He's only 1200 HP as well. And now they've got an opportunity for Roche with that Bat Dad. They're actually looking to go for it here with the press the attack Morphling. Not the best Roche hitting without even a medallion or anything on their lineup.
Oh, but they're doing it. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, Morph just hits so darn hard. If you're able to sort of tank and allow Samael to go to work with a full agi, you are going to be able to do it. They're starting to move over. See if they can get in. Roche falling. A few more seconds until it goes. Limp's able to find the jump in on the outside. Gets on top of No-Tail. They're looking for the scrim stroke. Samael committing onto the Roche. They'll finish it off and they'll grab the Aegis on the Morph. Disarm onto the Slug. Nico Baby's got to back off for now. Dive forward from Hansken. Not wanting to commit the Supernova yet. They've killed off No-Tail. Can they get more? They try with the Dragon Tail onto Samael, but the Lincolns blocks it. Alliance. They found one kill. Sax is still poking around with Nico Baby on the side. Seb maybe looking to get back in. Has Jewel at the ready. They look for the X mark initiation onto FNG. OG still trying to read the situation. Alliance, they do stand strong side by side and will put OG off from jumping in and trying to find anything more. So Alliance, they will stop themselves from losing any lives.
Not too bad. I think maybe if they had known about it a little bit sooner, they might have actually been able to stop it even, because we saw like the fight, like OG was kind of low on mana and everything. As soon as boat misses, they aren't really keen on fighting, but just a little bit late to it. But they're getting closer to some big items. We see Hanskin is almost finished with Spirit Vessel, which is going to be very nice.
Yeah, at least give some sort of way, an additional way of trying to bring down this Morph, but still not easy to do.
Seb on the hunt for S4.
Yeah, S4's out of here, not risking anything. Knows how important it is for him to get that blink done. Be able to head back over and secure that outpost back that way before the 20-minute mark.
All right, make sure that they do keep one at least. Nice move there by S4, forcing bottom lane in for that, ensuring his team does have that.
Well, FNG
looking to get aggressive. FNG.
Let's see if they've got the burst to bring him down. They do. Seb's able to get in as well. Pick up a bit of the old plus 18 for his duel bonus.
They're pinging actually on the DK here. It looks like Sumail really wants to go for this.
They're going to try for it. They do manage to get the pullback with the Ether Remnant into the Dragon Tail stun that Sumail's able to utilize against DK. They'll burst him. Limp's dead. Quick play from OG, seeing an opportunity to get in onto the DK. Limp feeling confident as that Dragon Knight under the tier 2 tower that they wouldn't be able to burst him, but they do have the ability to do so. Bringing in all 4 of them. S4 does come over towards mid with an Invis.
He's on a sentry. He's under a sentry. They saw him for a sec. He's got to be very careful.
And how we're seeing Nico Baby's items progress. He has completed his S and Y.
And he's got a Pupil's Gift, so, I mean, that's pretty nice. Yeah, that didn't get hit by no 20% nerf or anything. That's a lot of stats.
He's a pretty thick slot.
FNG survives.
Oh.
He breaks the Lincolns.
I mean, S4's gone for the lasso onto No-Tail, and it will get them the kill. Will surely cost him S4's life, and it does. They get the trade. Sumail zits forward with a waveform, but Nico Baby's around. Nico Baby getting held to the side by the Ether Remnant. Again, pulled off away, so he cannot commit onto Sumail. Sumail given the space to back up and Seb. He's looking for a chance to get back in, and he'll find it. Jumps in, gets the duel onto Nico Baby. Hanskin trying to go with the Supernova from the side, but the Slark, he's already dead. They'll lose the Slark. Their Aegis does go down in return for it, but they don't mind that at all, OG. Killing off Nico Baby, the one big threat that Alliance have, is a huge find for them. Seb immediately moving down mid to skip the creeps, allow OG to push onto the tier 2. FNG still playing outside of the base, and Sumail, Saxa, they're on top of him, they're bringing him back. It's another kill for Sumail to pick up. 5-1 and 7 now in the morph. S4's trying to poke around with Seb. It's hard to go on this Legion every time. He's just going to have press the attack to heal himself back up. OG continuing with the push.
And that's his DK form too. It's going to be gone in about 20 seconds, and they're pushing right through it anyway. That is really difficult for Alliance. They just overcommitted a bit too hard, chasing forward, and that's what happens when you're playing like a Slark into a Legion Commander or versus a Kunkka. You feel a bit safe, you step up a little bit too far, and you just get grabbed, you get locked down. These things you can't prevent. Still no Blink Dagger on S4 for him to try to go for those back targets easier. Because we saw he was able to get on top of No-Tail there, but ended up paying with his life. And they actually had broken Sumail's Lincolns initially with the Enchantress enchant. But he did have Aegis, so that was the target choice. But if he has a Blink, he'll be able to do it a little bit easier. It's just
on bottom. Hanskin.
Slow down.
He's going to show himself. Saxon's going to reach out with the Remnant, but Hanskin dives away. Doesn't want to take any risks down here, knowing that OG is around. S4, about 400 gold, and the Blink will be there. They'll go for the smoke up. Alliance, see what sort of catch they can find. They know that Sumail obviously has no longer got that Aegis. So finding him would be huge. Nico Baby joining the forces as well as S4 and Lim hide in the trees. Looks like they're going to use Nico Baby as the bait here. We'll see how effective that is.
They're going real far for this one to try to get the grab. Sumail.
It's a deep move. Can they pop the Lincoln to grab him in time? No, instantly with a waveform. Sumail's able to get away, and this whole movement is put to an end. Seb jumps forward, looks for the duel. Nico Baby up in the high ground. Has managed to isolate the supports of OG. Takes down No-Tail. Lim goes with the Dragon Tail onto Saxa. FNG throws out the Impetus. Saxa will be able to zip away with the Astral Step. The Impetus still flies through, and in fact, Hanskin's there with the extra damage to offer up. Saxa, he will fall, but the egg does as well. It's a 2 for 2. Wish pops his BKB, now comes to an end. Nico Baby, he still wants to move forward onto this, but the disarm from the Halberd. He's got to jump back out. Goes in with the Dragon Tail. Nico Baby, can he get back in on this? They cannot, because Seb, he's in. The dual control, it destroys the Slark. As Nico Baby will fall, and now things will start to crumble once again for Alliance in this team fight. Both FNG and Limp just trying to get out of it. Limp will be able to blink out in the trees and make it away, but FNG, he can run, but he cannot hide. One more blast from Sumail. Actually, not quite enough damage.
The hood. He's still survives the hood.
All right. FNG, he's a liver.
For now, Wish looks like he's trying to cut him off. They look like they're trying to cut him off.
Oh yeah, they might still get him. Well, no, S4 and Limp have come back in, so it's a little hard to reach forward for the Ench.
Again, in that fight too, it looked like Alliance got a pretty good start of the fight, right? They got No-Tail up on the high ground in an awkward position and all that, but they killed the supports in that fight, but the cores just lingered on and were able to sustain through what Alliance had.
Yeah, all three cores are just so hard to kill.
Yeah, and we just keep seeing like Slark just gets locked down. There's always one type of a method for him to get grabbed, either like an X or that duel. Then they have even more tools. Okay, Seb gets hit by a Centaur Stomp. He's trying to commit forward onto him here, but there's a lot of A lot of OG friends up here.
There's the jump in. Duel onto FNG. Can they pop him in time? They cannot. In fact, he will live for now. Gets the heal off, but the boat comes crashing in and will end his life. The silence onto Nico Baby, but he's able to bite the bug off. Jump out with the pounce. Nico Baby will live. Wish still trying to see if he can get a grab. The X-Monk is back up. Nico Baby hiding in the trees, using the fog to his advantage, and will manage to sneak away back towards the base. But again, it's 2 deaths again. Alliance losing heroes. OG still able to just push Alliance right back in towards the base. Many objectives.
They have full map control.
Yeah, they could take what they want. These tier 2s on the side lanes are going to be looking juicy for OG. Alliance, they've got to find some firefighting.
Like for when you try to make those type of plays on a tier 2, it's so impossible now. When like if you're Radiant and you have that outpost, you just get outnumbered instantly. We saw that happen right there. OG just brought like 3-4 people right away when they try to make some aggressive move.
Oh,
That's limited a lot, but now Sumail.
They got him. They got him. They got the man. He was alone. The jump was there. Link has popped, and they did it. They killed Sumail's morph. He's off the game for a full minute. Can they get anything with this?
Out.
Down bottom, Seb. The lockdown's there. Is it going to be enough? Nico Baby gets the chance to put the Shadow Dance. Now he's going to start turning and fighting back. He looks towards Saxa. He's got the pounce already. Will be used up. Can they kill off this Void Spirit in time? No, Saxa. He's able to get another remnant off the Dark Pact. Nico Baby's continuing to move forward. Saxa will fall as well as No-Tail. Alliance, they're striking back. And S4, he's seeing if he can get the chase onto Seb. Seb, he's still running. S4, he's got Blink. He hasn't got a lasso though, and he won't die for this. Seb's able to get away. But Alliance able to maximize perfectly off that kill they get on Sumail. They turn it instantly into 2 more. You know, Nico Baby, he is continuing to get closer and closer to the farm of OG's course. They still need a fair few fights like this, but maybe this Slark could be the power that can carry Alliance through this incredibly tough game.
Yeah, he's going to need a couple more, well, a lot more of those, really, for him to start building it. But this lifesteal already starting to make a bit of a difference. We saw him get dueled, and he's able to just hit back, and is able to successfully get his team some kills. And Sumail maybe wanting to be a little more careful with his positioning there, but Alliance finally getting another good situation for themselves, getting that jump on him out of position. They get their lanes pushed out nicely. Now they have some breathing room. Now they can make a few decisions for themselves. Hanska now also is I feel like when you're playing Phoenix before you get level 12, it's really like you're not really using your supernova too much. Now he has a little bit more breathing room. Small gains.
I mean, Alliance, they are coming out around this mid lane to
DK
try and
form.
find something. They're going to get the jump on Seb. Instantly in with the Dragon Tail stun. The Dark Pack removes the Yule. Seb pounced up. They'll kill off the Legion. Soulbind does come in onto Nico Baby, but Nico Baby's able to take the bug off, and he wants to turn. Wish pops the BKB, trying to come in onto Hanskin, but he hasn't got quite enough damage alone to kill him. They turn over towards No-Tail. This is going to be another pick-off that Nico Baby's able to get involved in. He gets the Dragon Tail. He will get saved by Seb. With that press the attack, Sumail able to turn into the Slark, pounce away. Looking towards S4, but S4 keeps himself at a distance over the cliff. Nico Baby still with the Shadow Dance, good to go. Moving in onto Wish. Wish backs away. Dragon Tail catches him. Yules from Saxa holds back Limp, but they're chasing in onto this Kunkka. Nico Baby coming through from the side to make sure he heals back up. Seb goes for the duel onto the back, but the heal's there from Hanskin. The Sunray is healing the back up, and Seb, he's going to be the one to fall. It's another kill for Alliance. Jump over onto the Kunkka. Wish is getting low. He's got no BKB. He's got no hope. Alliance again getting the kills and able to outplay OG in a game where OG, they have full control of this from sort of the early game into the mid. But Alliance, they're turning it around. Nico Baby is coming online, and he's closer and closer now towards his Satanic. They're pushing in, and they're winning these fights against a lineup that, as we said, this is not easy for Alliance to do, but they're playing it to the maximum here.
No, absolutely. They're getting like the perfect jumps, it seems, on the right targets. They're splitting up the fights nicely. That was before they had DK form too at the start of that fight, and they played it very nicely. Limp with some great halberd into stun plays onto Sumail over and over again. Sumail missing the mark a lot on his pounces and on his waveforms, trying to be sure that he could stick on some targets, but Alliance plays it very nicely, and Hanskin at the end there. Perfect positioning with his Sunray. They're bringing it all together. They're making their team fight work versus OG.
No, that is not an easy thing to do. They are really, you can tell how focused Alliance are right now. Minimal mistakes to be made. They're playing it tight, and this Aegis and Cheese, it will be theirs.
Yeah, it's Aegis, Cheese, and now it's pretty much going to be a Satanic as well on Nico Baby. That changes quite a lot. Gold down to 0. How's our experience? Down to 0, probably in favor of Alliance even by a decent margin.
Oh. And a Paladin sword
And
too.
a Paladin sword
Beautiful.
too.
Oh, baby.
It's all coming
Nico,
together.
Satanic and Paladin sword. And oh my goodness, this Slark, you know, as I say, you know, this was, I always saw that this maybe could have been a chance. You know, we talk about the Morph, this hero that you got to sort of 100-0 at the start of the fight, otherwise it'll take over. This Slark, it's exactly the same case, the same problem that OG have against Alliance. If they don't kill Nico Baby at the beginning and he gets up to like the 20 stack point, this Slark will just take over the team fights. Once the BKBs wear off for like the Kunkka, you're just essentially this sack of meat that the Slark's just going to keep punching into and getting to a point where the rest of the team cannot kill him.
Yeah, I mean, now it is looking scary. It definitely is with all this HP, raw HP too, 2,500 health with all this lifesteal coming into play, with all this status resist coming into play too. So all those lockdowns are not going to last. Yeah, he's got high chances of surviving now. And with an Aegis 2 to come back, let's see how much they can find. Seb again.
There's a few times where Seb is trying to start things, and he's ended up giving his life up and wish. He goes for the BKB TP, but indeed S4 turning up in time. It's going to be another kill for Alliance. OG, they're starting to break down here, and Alliance getting some real momentum. As now they take the net worth advantage. Nico Baby continue to build up these permanent essence shift stacks.
What
Now,
a
OG
crazy last few moments.
Yeah.
They just, I mean, they picked up even more items too. Limp has BKB. Everyone's pretty much finished over a full item now versus OG.
Yeah, even like the sort of the smaller items, you know, FNG picks up a Vlad suddenly now. You know, this like he's going to have lifesteal on top of lifesteal. You know, as long as Nico Baby can hit targets, which he should be able to, right? He's got that status resistance, so the disarm is less of a worry for him. They've got to kill this Slark. They don't kill him, this Slark's going to win Alliance the game.
Yep. And they just have a lot of now they're a lot tankier on everybody. Like Limp is going to be a nuisance too. He's got a cheese. He's got BKB. Everybody is starting to become a problem. We're going to have a pause. So we get to talk about. So, you know, I think people were talking about how, like, you know, the snowball effect of the patch was a lot. You know, this last patch we just got, what, 2 hours ago? Looks like it's already addressing it. People are saying, what, no comebacks, right? Look, we're having a comeback right now.
Yeah, here's your comeback. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So we're seeing it here. And you know what's even better? We might have a comeback of the comeback. You know, this game,
possible.
You know, Alliance, they've got some power right now, but that's not to say that OG are out of this. They're not at all. There's still that Morph sat at the top. You know, he is the sort of the big end game be all end all carry, and it is of course Samel on the keyboard. So you know he knows what to do. So no, without
very
a
impressed
doubt.
with S4's comeback in this game too. Like we saw, he was
he's
down and
struggled.
out.
He
He's
really
0-7 and 12 in this game still. But he's got like same net worth as Seb. He's gotten some pretty key lassos on some targets too. Like he's absolutely recovered with that low net worth.
No, I think that I feel like that's sort of the certain offlaners that really are very good at that. I mean, sort of two that come to mind, maybe S4 and Zai. You know, these sort of offlaners we've all seen.
Yeah.
They have games. They start off in lane. You know, they die 5 times in a row. Everyone's typing lull. Everyone's like, "What the hell's going on?" And then you know. These guys, they don't get tilted. Can you imagine S4 or Zai getting tilted or angry? No, they don't get angry. That is not an emotion that they as human beings can actually process. They keep their cool, they hit the jungle, they make the moves with the limited tools they have, and they come back into the game. And, you know, she said, you know, he's having more impact than Seb. And Seb had a free start, right? And we've seen what the last few fights, Seb, he's just died at the start. He's struggling, whereas S4, he's starting to climb into his element.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that actually is probably the biggest thing, right? Because the one where Sumail got picked off was pretty big, too, as well, of course, you know, in that jungle where he was a little bit too far ahead and he got the rest of his teammates picked off. But a lot of the start of the fights that have gone bad is when Seb gets grabbed. And then they don't have the way to bail somebody out to save. Got to be wary of their positioning. And only, as we see by Cavella over there, he only 46 duel victory on Seb so far in this one.
No,
so skilling has slowed down a lot.
I think you're absolutely right. You know, Seb, he's got a sort of. I mean, because OG, they've got other ways of initiating, right? I feel like Seb doesn't have to go in with the duels. Sure, the Slark's sort of a different concept, you know, to catch the Slark, Seb does kind of have to be the one to go on him. But for the other heroes, you know, they have the setup, the Yules into the Ether Remnant, or even sort of the X-Mark combo from the Kunkka, you know, many ways to sort of start the fight without Seb having to go in, so Seb can sit back and be there to provide the press, the attack, to save the other cores that do get initiated on by Alliance. But yeah, well, we'll see how Seb does play it through, and then the next few engagements, because dying as early as he has done so far has definitely been a real hit to the OG team fight potential their lineup has.
Yeah.
Yeah, just unfortunate pause here.
I'm looking at fun talent numbers. Some of these numbers are hilarious.
That's true.
Now.
Yeah, what kind of
They're
stuff?
actually hilarious.
I'm trying to find what's the best one this game. Any good?
Like random numbers.
no,
I mean, look at Slark's level 10 talent, +5 agility.
+5. I don't think we're ever going to see anybody take that.
Like
+5.
Some of the numbers are.
That's the sort of talent where yeah, +5 agility. My goodness.
Oh, let's see.
I might as well be +5 in. You know, so more people will probably take that.
To be fair, though, the 10 talents was the big one people were talking about, right? Because that's where like the snowballing comes into play. So you look at all of them, and they have some funny numbers. Like look at Seb's, it's like 1.5 mana regen.
Yeah, I mean that seems just so low. That's like, well, how much is a jelly, right? A jelly gives you what, 1? It's like it's just only slightly better than a jelly. I mean, jelly is pretty good. Jelly is pretty good. Who am I kidding? Oh, what have we got? We got some, who's drawing on the map? Who's writing this stuff? Wait, hang on, that's a root.
That's Saxa.
No, Samael wrote Sexa very, cleverly, trying to put a twist on Saxa's name to really sort of sell the attraction of it.
I saw Seb write status. Was he referring to status resist or their status? Or
I don't know. We've got a few wiggles here down on the bottom lane. Not quite sure if you beautiful people can see this at home. Oh, we have a game of noughts and crosses starting off. Oh, I think that's one of the observers. I'll play. Wait, okay, I've gone for.
He's remaking it. He's remaking it.
Okay. Oh, he's okay. I'm playing the noughts, by the way.
Oh, he cheated. He put down 2. I saw.
He cheated. What is this? Well, imagine that nowadays you can't have a nice, honest game of noughts and crosses in the chat. Disappointed there by whichever commentator was that. Be sure to have discussions after the game, but the game will resume. Thank you very much for all your beautiful viewers at home sticking around whilst we did have that short break. But it is over, and it is short, and I can guarantee there won't be any more breaks this game until there is a break, and then that guarantee is no longer valid.
What do we got going on? So, game pauses mess up everything. All right, so OG, all positioned in their base. Alliance still in the area. They've got, what, 2 minutes left on Aegis? Yeah, 2 minutes left on Aegis.
No, so yeah, it's always interesting to see sort of how the ball's change anything, because I would think out of anything at these two teams, I feel like OG would be able to the ones to make the most of a pause like that, because they can be like, look guys, we were winning this game, what we were doing the last few fights, let's not let it happen again. So we'll sort of see what OG's able to come in to the next bit of action with after that.
I'm wondering if they're feeling a little bit afraid, especially because the last two. I feel like Alliance has a good grasp of the game now by like a decent shot, and I'm seeing some items being queued up after that pause. Rapier queued up on Morphling, and I see Grimstroke has queued up an Aghanim. So they're like, use the Slark against himself because he's now too damn strong.
Oh, I like it. I like it. And not only right, so yeah, before the Rapier, Samael's got that Skadi done. Slark as well, also going for the Skadi over on Alliance's side. Nico, baby. Some big items coming out for the carries of both teams.
They're going to knock on high ground maybe a little bit here, it looks like, because they still do have that time. They have 1 minute left on that Aegis.
Oh, them.
They're jumping forward.
Got the initiation. They get the Dragon Tail. They jump forward. The boat comes crashing down. Seth will be able to get back up to the high ground. They'll keep the Legion safe this time. Nico, baby, still looking to go in. He just heads up to the high ground. Does get disarmed. Nuke down low, but he pops the Shadow Dance. Who does he want to commit on? He turns towards Saxon. No, he just back. Samael, he's committed in deep. Samael's got to be careful. The Torrent has lifted him up, but Samael on the front lines, and he's dead. They're without the morph for 85 seconds. Samael does not have buyback. A BKB from Wish being used only in an attempt to get him away. Alliance, they can push up to the high ground with no warrior. Samael being up for the defense, and it's not over yet. Limp jumps in, initiation onto No-Tail. No-Tail buys back immediately. But Alliance, they're just killing them off, bullying OG back, and they're taking the high ground objectives. This tier 3 is gone, they're on towards the barracks. And I don't think OG can do anything without Samael. I mean, they could barely do anything with him.
They don't have boat available either for 10 seconds. Yeah, there's no way that they can contest this one. Secondary one, they've still got 40 seconds. They actually go for anything here. There's no DK form, but Lasso's back up in 20, and there's still an egg.
Oh yeah, I mean, keep pushing on. There's no need for Alliance to leave this. They know how strong they are right now, and they know that there's very little that threatens them with how big Nico Baby is. They just cannot kill this Slark reliably, OG. He's far too tanky right now. And he's only just about to get tanky. The full Skadi on its way over to Nico Baby.
Jump
forward. Limp. Gets the opening onto the Seb. They move in with the Slark. Just get pulled aside with the Ether Remnant. There's Fires to go in with Sax on the skate. Nico Baby goes over towards him. Staying in. Another stun onto Saxa. The Void Spirit will fall. Saxa does have buyback, but with Seb dead, it's another core out of the game. No buyback saved up on them. Limp jumps in immediately. This Dragon Knight, every single time. You know, we sort of talk about the power that Nico Baby has, but Limp's jumps with the Blink Dagger, they've been phenomenal. Ever since that first pickup down bottom, every single fight, Limp, he's been the one to start it. He jumps in, gets the action going. They're in onto Wish. Wish pops the BKB. Nico Baby, he's still able to stand his ground. He does now back away. Satanic online again in a second, so he can recommit if he wants to rely on the Lifesteal to get him back up. They'll get the Ether Remnant onto him, but it doesn't matter. They cannot get in onto this slug. Again, another jump from Limp. Dragon Tail onto Wish. Wish is without the BKB. Nico Baby does back away because Seb, he's in, finds the duel, but the disarms. Seb, he's not going to kill off this slug in time. Slug's going to be fine. Seb's falling low to the impetus. The Spirit Vessel is ticking him down. He's trying to get back to base. Will Seb live? He will. The Fountain will save him, but the rest of OG, they're in shambles. Sumail getting pushed back. Another Vessel charge to take him out of this engagement. They lose Saxa, and OG, they're just throwing bodies at Alliance as Alliance clean them up. It's now a 15k lead for Alliance. They're 2 sets of racks up, and I don't see how OG can turn this one around now. Alliance, they've just taken over the second half of the game, and OG, they lost pretty much all of that power that they built up in the other game.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a great job of just capitalizing, getting a few of those kills, and then I like their itemization. They got some auras. I see FNG, he got the pipe and then the Vlads, so they have these overwhelming auras in comparison to OG, who has, I think, 0 auras. Yeah, 0 auras besides like a buckler or something along those lines. So yeah, Alliance now just have overwhelming ways to fight. Just a couple mistakes by OG, and Alliance really took advantage of it.
Oh, they did. Ever since sort of like the first bad fight from OG, Alliance, there's been no sort of sitting back. It's been go, go, go. And OG, they just haven't been prepared for it.
Yeah, they keep getting like grabbed on the front lines by these 2 Blink Daggers, either from S4 or by Limp. And now at this point, the fight just seems so difficult for them. They're trying to get a smoke, see if they can get a wraparound so No-Tail gets better positioning, at least for himself. But Alliance, so tanky, so strong now. A full Basher too for Nico Baby.
Yeah,
near level 25.
Yeah, so farmed on this Slark. Insanely farmed. I mean, maybe if Sumail could get a Rapier, he can get some work done with that, but until he does, the burst combo, it's just not enough to deal with heroes like Slark, or the DK in that matter of fact. You know, 2 very tanky heroes. They've got a lot of HP to go through. DK naturally, and Slark, of course, with the stats that he's built up with the Zymes, 3,500 HP. You're not going to be able to sort of one-shot this man or get anywhere close to it. He's always going to get the chance to pop his spells.
Yeah, you're never going to be able to just beat on people, like if you do get to that point. So it's very difficult upcoming moments here for OG. Alliance just continuing to keep that farm up, getting these last levels, last few items too.
And we got
some spell prisms and stuff.
They cannot afford for this smoke to go wrong. It's been too long since they're able to make something good for themselves happen. Are they going to be able to do it here? Seb showing mid. Nico Baby and Limp. Limp's just going to jump in on Seb. Again, it's Seb showing in the lane. Limp's going to play around with Seb. Off to the back lines they go. They go for the quickity grab onto No-Tail with the lasso. They'll kill him off. Now Nico Baby turns his attention over towards Wish. Wish still has the BKB available. Tries to turn. He's trying to run. Nico Baby's going to stay hot on the tail of this Kunkka. He's not going to let Wish get anywhere. Jump forward again from S4. Knocks back Wish with the flame break. It's another kill for Nico Baby. Now he can move over towards Sumail. Sumail waveforms down, but Nico Baby's there waiting for him. The bash is in place. Sumail E-blades himself in an attempt to get out of there, but the Spirit Vessel, the magical damage is ticking him down low. The Supernova, it's ready to blow. Sumail's dead. Into the base. Wish is getting chased down after he brought back. This game, it's absolutely over. Alliance have just decimated OG in this second half. After a tough start, this really was Alliance turning it to the maximum. And they played at a tempo that I think OG were just